Hi there, welcome to another Team Clueless Battle Report. It's myself and Nick today, and we are on a bug hunt. We're hunting this little beauty in here. You can see he's actually a Forge World Hive Tyrant that I borrowed from my mate Paul, but he's pretty reminiscent of a certain Xenomorph bug that we all know and love. So we are hunting him in a Zone Mortalis today. The game is called Bug Hunt, and let's quickly go over the rules. So, there are 3 computer consoles on the board. One down here, one in there, and one over there. Victory points we can score this game if we control one of those consoles at the start of one of our turns, other than the first, just in case there's some sneaky way you can do that. You get a victory point. If you kill the opposing warlord today, we get a victory point. Every phase that you manage to wound the Xenomorph, you get a victory point. That sounds a bit easy, but there are things about that that will mean it isn't. And then the person who kills the Xenomorph, if any of us indeed do, also gets a victory point. So they're the ways we score victory points. We're playing Zone Mortalis, to say. We're using our own special Zone Mortalis rules. Various things you should know about the Zone Mortalis rules. Any measurements have to be done kind of like tracing a line. So you can't measure through anything. You can't measure through doors. You can't measure through walls. So if you've got a model standing this side of this wall and a model standing the other side, one of their auras will not affect the other because you have to measure round until you find a path, and that's how you measure. It just makes it a whole lot fairer for very certain things. You can't move too fast in the Zone Mortalis if you've got the fly or bike keyword, or you're a vehicle. If you move too fast, you risk taking mortal wounds. Deep striking into the centre of the board or away from other models, so other than in your own deployment zone, or I think it's more than 3 inches away from one of your other models, there's a chance you take mortal wounds when you deep strike down, to represent the danger of deep striking in such confined areas. We have an automated turret over here, which is guarding one of the computer consoles. The automated turret, every turn it can fire once, and it will only ever fire at the first unit that moves within its line of sight. It's kind of like a T-Rex. If you're standing in this corridor but you do not move, then it won't fire at you. But if Nick sprints across the back here, it will gun him down like a good one. It's only got BS5, but it does have 8 shots, so it's pretty dangerous. There are lots of doors on the board. The doors are always in one of 4 states. They are either open or they're destroyed. If a door is destroyed, it's also obviously open. They are closed, or they are locked. We represent locked by sticking a little red thing on top of them to show they're locked. You can open or close a door by using 2 inches of a model's movement during the movement phase. If it's locked, you have to kill it. They're generally toughness 8, 3 or 4 wounds, depending on the size of the door, and a 3-up save, so reasonably tough to kill. And you can see all the red ones are locked. We've basically locked all the computer consoles, so this one is locked behind 2 doors. This big room in the centre is locked from all sides, and this one over here is locked behind its door there. We are going to be playing this side of the board against that side of the board. We haven't done any of that rolling off stuff yet. The last rules I need to tell you about is about the Xenomorph itself. So at the start of the game, Nick and I will randomise these 6 tokens. There are 5 of them with X's on, and 1 has an objective. The objective represents the Xenomorph. We will then place these tokens around the Zone Mortalis, taking it in turn to place one. We won't know which one the Xenomorph token is. As soon as any model gets line of sight to that token, we flip it over. If it's the Xenomorph gets put into play, and all the other tokens disappear. The Xenomorph follows the hunted monster rules, which we've used many times. It moves randomly if you don't hurt it, and will then attempt to assault the closest model during the assault phase every turn. It does all of its actions at the start of the assault phase, and if you shoot it and hurt it prior to the assault phase in a turn, it will run towards you and then attempt to assault you. So if you hurt it, it will try and attack the models that hurt it. Otherwise, it moves randomly and will attack whatever it comes across. The special rules that this monster has is during any phase, or at the end of any phase in which it took a wound, there's a chance it will run into a duct or something like that and will escape from where it was placed. So say if Nick shoots it in the shooting phase, does a wound to it, then we roll a 4+ at the end of his shooting phase, and if it is a 4 on that 4+, then we take the model off the board and we again take it in turns, placing these tokens out of line of sight of everybody. So the Xenomorph has disappeared, and there's little blips showing up on our scanners of where it could be again, and we have to then try and find it, or it will try and find us, because the blips also move. Every turn they move d6 inches towards the closest enemy model towards each blip. So throughout the game, the idea is that the Xenomorph will keep on popping up, disappearing, appearing in other parts of the board. We won't know where it is, so we won't know kind of like where to hunt and such. So to represent the monster jumping around and such. When it moves, it can move through doors with impunity. It's as if it's kind of going through the ducts or going through the floor, or knows a special method to get round and things like that. Okay, I think those are most of the rules, other than explaining exactly how tough the Xenomorph is. Nick, do you have the sheet?
I have the sheet.
Can you stick it down and I'll put it on camera?
So you really haven't based this game on any type of movie whatsoever,
No,
have you?
not at all. So we'll go down here and I'll try and hold the camera as steady as I can so you can have a quick read. It's a Xenomorph. It's really fast. It's pretty tough. It's got 12 wounds, 4 attacks. It's got a punching maw, which is kind of like a little inner mouth that punches out and eats things, which can do quite a lot of damage. And it can also heal itself if it uses that. It's got some scythe talon attacks. It's got a whipping tail. It's got acid blood, so every time it loses a wound, on a 6, there's a chance that every unit within 2 inches takes a mortal wound. It's got a weird alien mind to make it less susceptible to psychic powers. Black as night and twice as quick. This is the important one. All attacks against this model suffer -1 to hit. It may re-roll its failed charges and cannot be targeted by Overwatch. That's a pretty good rule. It has a 4-up invulnerable save, and all damage suffered by this unit is halved, rounding up. So if you do it 1 damage, it does it 1 damage. Do it 6 damage, that's only 3, I'm afraid. Okay, so that is how tough it is. It's pretty tough. I'm not even sure we're going to be able to kill it. Let's see what armies we are bringing today. Okay, so today I am bringing the Deathwatch. We are playing, how many points? 1,250 points today, so a reasonably small game. So, we use a special detachment. It's a Zone Mortalis detachment, which consists of 1 to 2 HQs, 1 to 3 troops, 2 to 4 elites, 0 to 1 heavy, 0 to 2 fast attack, and you get 3 command points for taking it. So it's just a detachment you're encouraged to take in the Zone Mortalis game. You can take some of the others. So what have we got? We are led by a Watchmaster there. He has the special book which lets me change my chapter tactic once per game, or my Deathwatch tactic, whatever they're called. We have a Librarian in Terminator armour with 4 sacks, and he's actually got a Storm Bolter, not the Combi Melter we can see there. I haven't chosen his psychic powers yet, I'll do that momentarily. We have a Dreadnought armed with an Assault Cannon. He's actually a Venerable Dreadnought with an Assault Cannon, and he has a Storm Bolter underneath his fist. And then we have... This is an Apothecary. Now... the Deathwatch aren't allowed to take basic apothecaries, but they can take Primaris apothecaries. But I don't like the giant big dudes in my army of not very big dudes. I think it looks a bit silly. So I'm using an apothecary model, and he's going to use the stats of a Primaris apothecary. The only difference really would be that this guy's not allowed to get in transports, but I don't have any, so... Then we have 3 kill teams, which is really why you sign up to take the Deathwatch in the first place. So we've got 3 quite distinct different kill teams. We have one which is my long-range support kill team. So we have 5 basic dudes, one of them's a sergeant. They're all armed with Stalker pattern bolt guns. We have a Terminator there who has a Thunderhammer, a Storm Shield and a Cyclone missile launcher. And at the back there we have a Vanguard veteran. He's just got a bolt pistol and a chainsword. The reason you take him in the squad is every time you add one of these specialist troops to a basic Deathwatch squad, that gives them an extra ability. So the Terminator makes them immune to morale. Not that handy for Space Marines. But the Jump Pack dude, he makes them be able to fall back from combat and still shoot. That's pretty good for such a shooty squad. Okay, next up we have our medium range support squad. So we have a sergeant at the front here. Sorry, they're all a bit black and grey as they're only part painted, so it's quite hard to tell what he's got, but he has a Combi Bolter, which is a Combi Bolter and a Melter. Then I have 2 basic Space Marines armed with bolt guns. Then I have 2 armed with frag cannons, which are kind of like short-range las cannons come double-shot heavy flamers, so they're pretty special. I have a Terminator with a Storm Bolter and a Power Sword, and I have another Jump Pack dude with a Power Axe and a Bolt Pistol to give them fallback and shoot. And then we have our biggest squad, which is our close combat squad. So we have a Sergeant who has a Xenophase Blade, which is good versus invuln saves, and he's got a Storm Shield. We have a Black Shield, which lets the whole squad heroically intervene. He's got a Power Fist and a Storm Shield. Then we've got 2 Vanguard veterans. One has a Storm Shield and Lightning Claw. One has a heavy Thunder Hammer, which is like a Thunder Hammer, but it does D6 damage, so that's pretty powerful. Then we have this guy down here. He has taken his heavy bolter and strapped a heavy flamer underneath it. This guy here has a heavy flamer. He's in Terminator armour. He's got a power fist, which he's also strapped a melter gun to. Always fun. And at the back here we have 2 Deathwatch dudes who have got bolt pistols and shotguns. And lastly there is a biker, just because I had. He's got a sword and he's obviously got twin bolt guns on his thing. The main thing to know about the Deathwatch army is all their bolt weapons can fire special issue ammunition, which gives them loads of cool options. And that is my army. Let's see what Nick has bought.
Hi there, I'm bringing my Orks for a run out. It's been a little while, but someone said we were hunting a monster. So, Gazzy is back. He is taking on a giant strike beast. He is taking on a giant pig. Now he's onto a Xenomorph. They're slightly getting harder and harder as he's going through them.
I don't know, I'm not sure the Xenomorph's as hard as Betty.
So we've got Gazzy leading this army today. We've got a war boss in mega armour with power claw and custom shooters. We've got 2 units of Ork boys, both just 10 in a unit. This one, slugger choppers, and the knob has got a power claw. This one is a unit of shooter boys, but the knob has actually got a big chopper, not a power claw. We have then got 4 elite troops. We have got 2 units of mega knobs, all just armed with custom shooters and power claw. We've got a unit of 10 tank busters. Someone said we was in a space Hulk, but Orks don't care about putting a hole in the hole. And I'm bringing along a unit of commandos with 2 burners and a boss knob with a power claw. I've never used commandos before in an Ork army, so I thought Zone Mortalis could be quite interesting because they can infiltrate and come out of hiding somewhere, so I thought it could be quite useful in a Zone Mortalis.
Yep, right in front of that defence gun maybe.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. And we've got a unit of flash gits as well, another unit which I've only really used once or twice. I've not found much use for them, but their weapons minus AP and that should be quite good against Space Marines. So let's see how we go. Let's get deployment started.
You join us after setup. So our setup zones are basically these slightly emptier areas, which is a foot in and 3 foot long this way. And you can't set up in this bit at the end here because it's behind a door to start. So I've got my shooty squad down here. My close combat-y larger squad in the centre with my Watchmaster or Watch Captain, whichever one. No, I think he's a Watchmaster. He's the big one who gives me full rerolls. I've got my Dreadnought there. I've got my medium range shooter squad with the 2 frag cannons there with the Apothecary at the back taking care of them, and my Librarian is in Deep Strike Reserve. So Nick has pulled over here. It's a bit more cramped for the Orks, but I'll soon thin them down. So what you got, Nick?
We've got the shooter boys there with the knob and power claw, mega knobs with a war boss there.
Yep.
Slugger chopper boys, power claw, Gazzy there with another lot of mega knobs.
Yep.
Flash gets there with their guns pointing at the door. And tank busters with their guns pointing at the door.
Okie dokie.
And the commandos are in hiding somewhere.
Yeah, so that's similar Deep Strike Reserve, so we can't bring them down in the centre bit on turn 1 due to Games Workshop's new rules, and when we bring them in there's a chance we might hurt ourselves, but it's not very large. So we've also placed the blips. So the blips are these white tokens, they're all face down. We have no idea which one is the actual thing. They move at the end of the charge step before the close combat phase, and if one of them flips over and turns out to be the monster, it then gets to do its movement and attacks and stuff as well. So all the blips are potential danger, but they're also potential victory points. Let's see what we all get. Okay, so the heroic Deathwatch Marines got the first turn. We just advanced to try to take out some of the doors. So this squad here advanced, blew the door off with a melter gun, hoping that the Xenomorph would be behind it because they could then charged it and got some hits in, but it was a blank blip. These guys up here managed to open this door and move forwards, but the blip down here in its movement shot towards them. We thought, Xenomorph trouble! But no, luckily it turned out it was a false alarm. In here, this blip slowly meandered towards the door the Orks are lined up against, but nobody has managed to reveal it as yet. The blip that was over here, it suddenly jumped to the other side of this door, but no, another false alarm. This blip here sidled ever so slightly up to this door but couldn't quite move through it. So we know the Xenomorph is either that blip or that blip. Not revealed at the end of Deathwatch turn. I attempted to blow this door off in my shooting phase. Didn't even scratch the thing. The Dreadnought managed to knock 1 wound off this door. It's not a locked door, so he can just go and press the button, but that does take 2 inches of his movement, and he's not the fastest kid on the block. Okay, it is now over to the Orc.
Right, end of Orc turn 1. And we didn't do huge amounts this turn. We've basically moved up, but then remembered we could advance, because obviously the Meganobs moved 4 and stood in front of the door. And then we obviously remembered we could advance, so we opened the door and piled through, working our way up towards this locked door in this the computer centre place. The other Orcs, we've kind of moved up and we've managed to get to this door and attacked it, and the Power Claw just ripped this locked door apart, with Gazzy slowly coming up behind him. The Flash Gits blew the bloody door off, and obviously we revealed the Xenomorph! The token was there, standing right in front of them. So the token got removed from over there. I charged in with the Meganobs. Lucky enough, I advanced, and they were just within 6 of Gazzy still, so they could do a charge after they'd advanced. Put a couple of wounds through to the Xenomorph, but he made his saves.
Yep.
Unfortunately, and I took 2 wounds back in return. So
you made all your saves.
I made all my saves. So yeah, it was a shame. I really wanted to put some damage onto him because obviously it would have meant he disappeared, or chance he could have disappeared. The best part of the turn. These Orcs, with measuring, because they got to move 5, they moved up 3 inches, used the other 2 to open up the door, and fired rockets straight along the corridor at the Space Marines that were there. And
4 dead Deathwatch members.
It was 5 hits, 4 wounds, no save, 4 dead Space Marines.
It was not good.
So that's a good, because that's their long-range shooting as well. So
luckily I'm immune to morale because I've got the Terminator guy there.
Yeah, but other than that, that was my turn. So not bad. Blown a couple of doors off, killed the Space Marines. Xenomorphs there. So obviously it depends on what the Deathwatch do. Obviously close combat one's trying to come in and shoot, and obviously there's a chance of when they shoot into combat of hitting me or the Xenomorph.
It's whether I can get there though, because it's quite a distance.
Yeah.
So I think if I rush forward, your army will just annihilate me with numbers.
Quite possibly, yeah. But it depends. We have to see how it goes. So we'll see what happens. Your turn 2.
Deathwatch turn 2. So while Nick was engaged with a Xenomorph over there, I decided to try and break through and take this computer console down here. This door, I shot my entire heavy weapons squad at it. Didn't scratch it really. We ended up trying to plough through it with our fists and combat knives in close combat, and went to the very last one of my attacks. I managed to kill it. So the door is finally gone, so I can now get in there. Nick has a healthy squad the other side though, but he has a locked door to contend with, so hopefully that'll hold him up like it did me. Over here, I moved my big squad into this room because I feel some of the action here may be going down, and I'm also now controlling this computer console with my bike. He sprinted forwards. Unfortunately, when you move fast with bikes and jetpacks, there's a chance you'll take mortal wounds. I rolled the 6, so it would do D3 mortal wounds, so I used my first command point and managed to stave off that damage. I've got the Warlord trait that lets me get them back on a 5+, but I didn't get it back, as always. Then, over here, my librarian arrived, so it's dangerous to deep strike in a zone Mortalis unless you are within your own deployment zone or within 3 inches of a friendly model. So I deployed within 3 inches of this guy here. He smited the tank busters who dealt me such a potent blow last turn, and then combined with the fire with his storm bolter, the cyclone, and the 2 stalkback bolt guns, we took out enough of them that they failed their leadership check and have had to disappear. So that's really good. Other than that, the Xenomorph then attacked. So one of the Xenomorph's special rules is it has a tail whip, which acts as a pistol. So it gets to fire that before combat actually takes place, because it gets to go on every person's go before combat. It failed to hit Nick though. If it had hit Nick, it would force him to act last in that combat round. So kind of like a lash whippy type thing. Nick attacked with all of his boys. Unfortunately, the -1 to hit for having a power claw, and then the -1 to hit because this thing is black as night and twice as quick, meant he's only hitting on 5. He's only got 2 hits through. Only one of them turned into a wound, and the Xenomorph shrugged that off with its invuln save. It then attacked back, but failed all its wound rolls, which was a bit annoying. But then it used its powerful punching maw to finish off one of the Meganobs. So it's still locked in combat. So let's see what the Orcs can do on their turn.
End of Orcs turn 2. Right, these orcs all moved up. We shot at this door, hoping that we could blow it open to come charging through to the Deathwatch guys over here. Unfortunately, we left the door on 1 wound and had to finish it off in the close combat phase with the power claws. The Orc boys and Gazzies, much deliberating. I come around here to the Venerable Dead Dreadnought in the end. Done 3 wounds to it.
Yep.
Obviously, I've taken 4 in return, and I didn't roll morale.
Oh, morale check. So they lost how many? I think they lost 5 models this turn.
I lost 4 this turn.
I thought it was 3 in Overwatch. How many you got left?
No, 2 in Overwatch, 2 in close combat.
Okay. So lost 4, leadership 7. So they lose 1 more model.
So 1 more dead out of there. So, but I say, Gazzy came around, gave him all the extra attack as well. So we rolled a bucket full of dice to Venerable Dreadnought. It would have gone worse if I hit these guys. I backed the Mega Knobs out of combat, hoping that the
you mean the Mega Chickens?
The snaz guns of these flash kits could fire in, because it was 5 ups for me to fire in and wound. I had 15 shots, but again, we failed to do a wound to it.
Yeah, it's so tough.
And it also meant that the Xenomorph moved in a random direction through our monster hunter rules. It basically stayed where it was and then assaulted my Mega Knobs, killed another one, and this one's left on 1 wound.
The Mega Knobs do a really good job of holding it up, because its base attacks are doing 2 damage each and they've got 3 wounds. I decided, because obviously my tank busters have died here and there is just nothing here apart from a turret to try and get through to this command centre, I brought my commandos in at the back there. We shot, you took all your... I did 3 wounds, but you made the saves with the Terminator, and I failed my charge, unfortunately. I was hoping to get the charge into them, because I wasn't sure if the librarian would come over to the command centre or not, because obviously there's nothing else in this corridor, so let's see what it goes. That's it, basically, for my turn. Obviously, lots of things are dying everywhere, and the Xenomorph is winning. So, victory points-wise, you're going to score... It's still 0-0, but you're going to score 1 on your turn. 1 in the centre here.
For having the command centre there. That could be the winning victory point.
It could be at this rate.
Let's see how the Imperial will do on turn 3.
You join us midway through Deathwatch turn 3. I'm going to quickly take you through what's happened so far. So down here, this squad advanced down the corridor and then lay waste to the Orcs in front of it with their firepower. The frag cannons took out a couple of the Mega Knobs, and my combined fire of all my different type of bolt guns with their special issue ammo whittled down the squad by, I think, 6 members.
Yep.
Then over here, the librarian bravely ran out in front of the fire from the auto turret, took it all on his Terminator armour, and is reaching for the door. Oh, I need to roll for the door, Nick, because that's why I was going that way. I'm trying to shoot the door. I'll quickly do that on camera. You auto hit it, and it's a 1 to wound with my melter gun. God damn it. So that's failed. These 3 guys ran forwards, even though they're all armed with heavy weapons, and then they fired back and took out another couple of the commandos back there. So they're down to 3 members, and I'm a bit further away than I was. Then the main action in the centre here, my large close combat squad, backed up over here by the chapter master guy, moved over here and unloaded into the Xenomorph, who was in combat with a Mega Knob. Now, you're allowed to fire into combats not involving you in the Monster Hunter rules. Then you have to roll to see which of the enemies you actually hit. On a 1 to 2, you miss all of them in the swirling melee. On a 3 to 4, you hit a different target to the one you fire at. Excuse me. And on a 5 to 6, you hit your actual target. I was really lucky. I got a lot of my hits in on the Xenomorph, and I actually managed to do it. 2 wounds! So get in!
Gained a victory point for
that. Gave me a victory point, because I gained I did a wound during a phase, at least 1 wound, so I've gained a victory point. So that combined with the one from the start of the turn, I'm on 2 VPs. But that meant the Xenomorph had a chance of bugging out at the end of the phase and disappearing back into the shadows. Nick rolled, and it did. So then what happens is we take the Xenomorph off the board. It just disappears. It runs away. It hides. It reaches up into the ceiling. And now we place down the blips again. So we have our 6 markers, which we don't know which one is the objective, and we take it in turns placing them. The interesting part is that is my shooting phase. So next up is the assault phase, where all of the blips move towards people. So it's quite tactical, the placement of them. So Nick has placed 1 down here, behind my squad. That would be bad. Then he has also placed 1 through this door to come out and attack my squad there. And he's also put one inside that door. Remember, blips can move straight through the doors and such to attack my librarian, so that would be bad. For my side of things, I have seeded them all behind Nick. They have to be placed outside of line of sight and more than 3 inches away from another blip. So I've hidden one back here to hopefully pop up and attack Nick in the arse, and both of these back here, because these guys are threatening my big squad here with a load of firepower. So I'm hoping one of those two, I've doubled up on my chances, are going to pop out. So Nick, let's do movements of them. They always move D6 inches towards the closest model. So Nick wants to start with this one here.
Moves.
He's moving just 1 inch. As soon as it becomes visible, though, let's see if I can see it, Nick. I'll go down with the camera. Oh dear, I can see it.
You can see
Flip
it.
that bad boy. Oh! Okay, so we'll do one of mine now. Roll for this guy, Nick.
5 inches.
5 inches.
So.
Oh dear, it's coming right behind these orcs. Flip him. Oh! Okay, one of yours. Which one do you want to do? One in this room?
We'll do the one in the locked room. Moving 5 inches.
5 inches out. Well, that is enough to get him out to here, and he is a...
Oh!
Okay, let's do this one here, Nick.
2 inches.
2 inches? I'm not sure you'll be... can you even see that?
Don't...
Oh, no, you can. You can definitely draw a line. What is it? Oh, no! Xenomorph attack! So, at that point, we remove all of the objectives, the tokens, and the Xenomorph has popped up from over here and has appeared down there. Let's get a nice close-up on him as he stalks around and he's going to hunt the crap out of those dudes. Excellent, so we'll come back at the end of turn and show you what a mess he's made of them. So it's the conclusion of that turn after the Xenomorph appeared. So what happened? The Xenomorph sprinted round the corner and ate 4 of the flash gits, but not before Nick interrupted and went before it and dealt it a wound, gaining Nick a VP. It then killed 4 of the flash gits. One of them it killed with its punching more, and when it kills a model of its punching more, it gains a wound back. So it's still on 10 wounds remaining. Over here, this squad here charged in and killed the remaining Mega Knob. Over here, I declined to charge, and my Dreadnought ate another 2 or 3 boys, including morale, and suffered nothing back. So it's looking okay for me, but unfortunately, I think Gazgul is going to move in somewhere this turn. I'm just not sure where.
Morale-wise, though, everything was okay over there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot these guys. Commandos ran off the board. They had a very poor showing. They arrived, did nothing, ran off the board. So Nick is looking quite thin on the ground now, but he still has some powerful pieces left. He's got his Mega Knob. That's a Mega Knob War Boss. We're not using the actual Mega Knob War Boss model because there isn't one. So we're using that one. And he's got Gazzy left as well. So still got some powerful bits left, and the Xenomorph could turn on me soon. Unfortunately, so far it's been feasting on Nick. Let's see what happens during Orc turn 4.
End of Orcs turn 3, and the massive Orcs that was here, we all went charging in. The War Boss went in first, and he's lost 3 wounds from Overwatch.
Yeah, he tanked, didn't he? He tanked really well.
Yeah, he tanked very well with the Overwatch and went in, and we killed 4 Space Marines in there. Obviously, the Terminator went first. He started taking wounds, but...
I did 18 Thrag Cannon hits on you as you ran, and your War Boss just took it on the chin and splatted me.
Yeah, and we've just worked out with no one scoring that objective there.
Yeah, we each have 3 obsec models within the 3 inches.
I managed to pull out another wound on the Dreadnought. It was 2, but he made 1 back, so the Dreadnought's taken half his wound, so he's taken 4, and he obviously splattered the last knob. Down here, Gazzy made a run down here and charged into the back of the Xenomorph and got through a couple of wounds, but the saves, mate, it made it save.
That thing has passed. I reckon it's needed to make maybe 9 invuln saves, and it's passed 7 of them.
And it attacked Gazzy back, but Gazzy sort of took it on the chin again with his invuln saves, but he used his more to kill the last flash kit, so it gained another wound back, so it's back onto 11 wounds. It's almost up to full wounds, and obviously I'm looking at very, very thin on the ground now. Obviously you're about to score another victory point there to make it 3-1. If you come in and do wounds,
you've just been so unlucky getting wounds on the Xeno, haven't you?
I spent the entire game near enough in combat with the Xenomorph with power claws, and I just can't wound it. So
I wanted it to be tough.
It's tough. So let's see how the Imperial go turn 4.
Deathwatch turn 4. So in this combat down here, I'd managed to survive with good morale rolls with my 2 frag cannons and my jump pack dude, which lets me retreat from combat and still shoot. So I retreated back, levelled my frag cannons at Nick's war boss in mega armour, blam, 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 did nothing. 2 frag cannons did nothing. So that was really bad. The Dreadnought managed to waddle around the corner with an advance roll, but didn't get to shoot, obviously. We both still have 3 within range, so Nick's not gaining a victory point for it. I decided to charge down here and take out the Xenomorph. So I charged down there, got into good shooting positions, unloaded all my shots onto it, managed to do, I think, 2 wounds, which gives me a victory point. It didn't bug out, so then I charged in. Really luckily, my last attacks with my Sergeant Xenophase sword managed to deal a wound to it, give me another victory point. I'd moved up my Watchmaster here just to give me the re-rolls needed. Then Gazgul waded into it as well, because it's all still part of the same combat, and he managed to get 4 wounds through to it, giving Nick a victory point as well. The Xenomorph didn't bug out at the end, even though it had taken wounds in 2 different phases there. Over here, my Librarian successfully blew the door off with his melter gun and survived hail of fire from the gun.
These guys ran across.
They drew the fire from the gun, and Nick just rolled appallingly. So he can get in there, and that's guaranteed VPs for the rest of the game, hopefully, unless the Xenomorph comes a-calling. These guys have sprinted down here in advance roll to try and get around there and join in that combat. Other than that, that's the end of the turn. Let's see how Nick retaliates.
End of Orks turn 4, and very poor down here. We come in along, we shot, didn't do anything in shooting, didn't expect to. Charged in, War Boss got blown away straight away. Meganov got blown away straight away, so the other boys just went, we'll stop you scoring an objective, shall we?
Frag cannons are deadly in Overwatch.
So that is basically what they're doing. Over here, Gazzy went first. Went into poor Xenomorph. That is it's another head for Gazzy. So he has a strike beast, a pig, and now a Xenomorph. And then the Deathwatch came along, just patted me on the back and went, "Congratulations!" They tried hitting me.
They did you 2 wounds.
They did 2 wounds. One with a normal guy. All the power weapons again just come along and made saves. So
that squad have not hit well.
It is actually playing out as victory points wise. 5-4 to me.
Yep.
So I get 2
4 to me.
5-4 to Curly. Obviously, he's not going to gain a victory point from there, and he hasn't got any of these. So there's no extra victory points this turn.
Yeah, so it's pretty close.
We'll play out this turn and see how it goes.
On my next turn, I'm going to go and take these 2 points, obviously, but I'm going to back away with my squad. And my captain's coming in.
Oh.
No, I'm not even going to fire at you. I'm going to take you mano a mano.
Well, that's a bad move for him. We shall see.
It's the end of Deathwatch turn 5 and nearly the end of the game. So let's do the simple stuff first. Down here, my squad fired its frag cannons, which have been all-stars for me this game. Took out the boys there, so I'm on this objective at the start of the next turn. This squad retreated from combat because it was just doing nothing versus Gazzy, and sped along using its bike and its jetpack to go 15 inches with an advance. Unfortunately, when you move so fast as a bike or jetpack, you have to roll to see if you take any mortal wounds. I took 3 mortal wounds, killing 1 and wounding killing 2 of my guys and wounding my bike. So that wasn't favourite, but I'm on that objective as well. The Terminator Librarian over here hasn't had the best of games, but he is scoring me objectives. He ran through the fire from the gun into the room, and he's scoring that. So I'm on all 3 objectives. So that kind of means I'm going to win the game because I'm just going to gain more VPs than Nick in the long run.
And I only have Gazzy left.
Yep. So over here we have Gazzy and the Watchmaster. The Watchmaster told his men to back off. I mean, he told these 2 to fire at Gazzy, but it didn't do anything. He then charged in, leapt in the air, plunged his Guardian Spear straight through Gazzy's armour, cutting him for 2 wounds. Gazzy then ripped out his claw and smashed me 5 times in the face, but my invulnerable save warded off 4 of them, meaning I'm on 3 wounds left. We decided we're going to fight another round of close combat because, hell, it's fun.
And it's going to go first.
It's Nick's turn, so Nick is going first. So Gazguy has 5 attacks, hitting on a 2. Okay, that's not a good start for the poor Watchmaster.
Wounding on a 2.
Wounding on a 2. I need loads of 1s here, loads of 1s. Ooh! Ooh, 2 1s. Nick, do you have any command points you wish to use?
I do. I have 2 command points. So I'll use 1.
Okay, 4 wounds through. The Watchmaster has 3 wounds left, and Gazzy does 3 wounds with a hit. So I need to pass all 4 of these on my Iron Halo 4-up save. No, I have been squished into bloody pulp on the floor. Splish, splash, splosh.
Another corpse for Gazzy.
Okay, so that actually gains Nick a VP, putting him up to 5. So we know I'm going to win if the game goes on because I'm getting 3 VPs a turn.
That was technically the finishing my turn.
Yeah, turn 5. So let's see if the game ends. On a 1 or a 2, the game has ended and it's technically a draw. No, it goes on. So we're going to call it a victory for me. But it was pretty close.
Yeah, it goes to your turn, so it's 3 VPs for you.
Yeah, exactly, and it's pretty insurmountable at that point.
You'll shoot at me there. You probably bring them round, I would assume, so you can still get. And I would have to clear them to then try and walk that way to that way.
Yeah, it's just not feasible, is it?
No.
But, really good game. Gazgul, a beast this game.
Gazgul, nothing to do to start with because of where to send him. Don't know where the Xenomorph is or anything.
But you kept him central. He was giving pluses to attacks to a couple of different squads.
Yeah, he gave the pluses to there. I was going to bring him back around here, give pluses to attacks for when they don't come in, but it pulled him away. It was the Xenomorph being there, the Meganob's doing nothing to him.
Oh, 2 turns in a row as well, wasn't it?
18 attacks. I got attacks. I was getting attacks through. It's just the Xenomorph. So you found out when you sent that lot in.
Yeah, just did nothing. We bounced off. It was only Gazzy you went in there. It's like, right, let's see how this is properly done.
You went in. It just went. What little saves I had to make with your attacks as well. It's like it just made them, and yeah, the Xenomorph just
I'd definitely use the Xenomorph again. I thought he was really flavourful on this.
It was a great
on this thing, and I really liked the. We've played, if you've watched loads of our videos, you'll see we've played Monster Hunter a lot before. Yeah. And a tendency in Monster Hunter is, if you make the wrong move, the monster goes to you, and then it spends all its time kicking the shit out of your army. So the Xenomorph kind of like disappearing and coming back was a way around that, even though it still played that it beat down on Nick most of the time.
Well, it only disappeared the once.
And
it failed 3-4 rolls for trying to disappear.
Yeah.
And it's only 50-50, it's a 4+. So, so obviously the first time we put it all down, it appeared there. Second time, okay, it appeared there. But there was chances for anywhere, really.
That's it. I'd definitely play this Xenomorph hunting mission again.
If the Xenomorph had come there, that would have been different. If it come out there, the librarian in that unit could have just...
The bit I really enjoyed was the tension of flipping the thing. It's like, is it there? Is it there? Shit, if it's there, I'm going to lose this... Oh, no, it's not there. Brilliant.
Because if it was there or there... I would have had units that could have been in here shooting at you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then there's obviously whether the damage done.
Yeah, because if it didn't come and eat those flash kits, they'd have murdered my squad because they put up so much firepower.
The commandos would have been there because you probably wouldn't have shot at them.
Yeah,
so they could have come wandering down and maybe tried making their way into here. There's so many different things that could have happened or
that's it.
Can happen in games with just the role of is it there, is it not?
And again, my second game in the Zone Mortalis with the addition of the doors, which makes such a difference. Without the doors, these are the standard Forge World Zone Mortalis tiles. There's so many lines of fire.
Yeah.
That you spend all your time shooting, whereas it was so much more close combat-y, which is what you think it should be.
I enjoyed all the doors. Just so like I've got to spend 2 movement. Oh, it's opened the door.
Yeah.
That's it.
But me spending like 2 rounds trying to crack a bloody door.
Well, literally first turn, you've come up, opened the door, walked 6 meters through. I've come to the door and gone, open! Fire!
That's it, and gun me down with your rockets.
Which obviously we wouldn't have deployed either side there. Obviously,
no.
With the doors weren't there to
That's it. In
with.
Previous games, it's all been about trying to shuffle up, not going in the fire lane, but with the doors blocking the fire lanes and making it so it's not guaranteed that you can open them as well, I think is really important.
Well, I had to shoot that door because otherwise it's Mega Knobs.
Which gave me the first attacks on you because you had to end up close combating it to get through it.
I mean, I could have just gone, actually, you know what, I won't, I'll leave the door shut. It gives you a victory point. And then you would either have to sit there and wait or come to me.
These 2 frag cannons down here, they single-handedly took this side of the battle for me.
Yeah, without them, I would have walked through that lot.
Yeah, just 2d6 Overwatch.
I think I would have been there before obviously the Dreadnought combat finished.
And with the Warboss, you'd be able to kill the Dreadnought.
Yeah, and Gazzy just kind of just wandering around here. I mean, if that had done, Warboss could have come wandering around and joined the combat. Yeah. Gazzy just coming over here and...
beating the crap out of everything.
Anything he finds.
We always like to end on a titanic duel between our generals, don't we? Okay, well, that was that game. Thanks for watching. Let us know what you think in comments below, and we'll see you next time. Oh, just so I remember, I did successfully get married. Yay!
Yay!
Married life is pretty similar to non-married life, to be honest.
Yeah, you're still allowed to play games.
Yeah, exactly.
While she's not around.
Yeah, obviously. I've got to tidy up now before she gets home. I mean, look at the state of the house. Okie dokie. Thanks, everybody. See you next time.
Cheers, bye.
Bye.